So can you please elaborate how you prepared and what actually you learned from each subject?
So engineering maths were the subjects which I was familiar with,
If we look into like a GATE syllabus, so for computer science engineering, programming and data structures has more weightage. And if you look into compiler design, which has very low weightage. Like, have you focused on like the entire syllabus, or have you focused on the subjects which have more weightage? So Anjali, while preparing for GATE exam, what kind of resources you have used? When did you actually started giving mocks, and what is the best time in order to give mocks?
what really happens is like people give tests but they don't analyze.
Like while you given these mocks, have you given subject wise mocks or you have given complete mocks? Like what kind of scores you are getting while giving the mocks? While preparing for GATE exam, what was your daily routine look like? So what was your revision or what was your preparation strategy in the last week?
And after I give the mock test, I used to analyze them, like what mistakes I did.
Like what kind of strategy you have used to attempt the questions? So you secured All India rank 13. So how was your vibes at your home? So IISc, it is well known and top-notch institute for its cutting-edge research. But getting into IISc is really a huge task. Many students put lot of effort in order to get into IISc Bangalore, but very few students make into IISc Bangalore. So the guest for today's podcast got admission at IISc right after her BTech. So the guest for today's podcast is none other than Anjali Chauhan, who secured All India rank 13 in Computer Science Engineering GATE 2023. So basically this podcast is divided into two parts. So in the first part, we will talk about her journey to IISc, and in second part, we will talk about her student life at IISc Bangalore. So if you are someone who are appearing for GATE, or if you are someone who are planning to join IISc Bangalore, make sure you watch this entire part 1 as well as part 2. So I have given the timestamps in the description. So if you want to know about any specific topic, you can check from there. So without any further ado, let's get started. So hi Anjali, welcome to the podcast.
Hi.
Yeah, how are you? How is everything going?
Yeah, everything is good.
Good to hear from you. So let's talk about your entire GATE preparation. So as I saw in your LinkedIn profile, you got admission at IISc Bangalore right after your BTech. So when did you actually started preparing for your GATE exam?
So I started preparing from my second year, like from my third semester. So I prepared for around 8 months, and then I gave my first attempt in my third year. So in my third year I got AIR 578, and after that I took a break for 6 months, like not for some reason, like just I took a break. Then after 6 months I started preparing again for my final year attempt. So in my final year, I prepared for around 6 months from August to January. So in that attempt, I got AIR 13.
Okay, really cool. While preparing Anjali, have you took any coaching or you have completely prepared by yourself?
Yeah, I have taken an online course.
Can you mention that course?
Yeah, it's Go classes.
So like Anjali, as you are secured All India rank 13 in Computer Science Engineering GATE 2023, I hope you have a strong preparation. So now let's talk about how you prepared for each subject. So can you please elaborate how you prepared and what actually you learned from each subject? Let me start with engineering mathematics. So how you prepared for this subject and what actually you learned from this subject?
So engineering maths were the subjects which I was familiar with from my first year. So we have some subjects in our BTech also, like similar to GATE. So engineering maths is one of them. So I started with calculus. So I have a strong calculus background. So that was an easy part for me. And then for linear algebra, like I watched one playlist, which like if I have to mention like Sachin sir's lectures I have watched for linear algebra. So like they were really nice. Like I got to know about a lot of new concepts there and a lot of amazing things that I didn't knew before. So after that, like I have solved the PYQs of engineering mathematics.
So then what about digital logic? Like how you prepared?
So same goes for the digital logic. Like digital logic was comparatively easy subjects, like compared to the other subjects of GATE. So I watched the lectures and similarly like did the PYQs.
Then what about a computer organization and structure?
So computer organization was something that I found difficult. So in my first attempt, I haven't studied that in that much depth. So in my second attempt, like I for some topics that I didn't understood, I followed the books also. So after that, like I practiced some questions.
Like what actually you learned from this subject?
Like about the internal working of the computer architecture, like how everything is connected.
And what about programming and data structures?
So, programming and data structures was something that I was already familiar with. In my first and second year, I did some coding, like DSA. So, like for that, I just solved the PYQs. Like I already knew about the data structures and C programming. So,
Like can you mention few topics you learned more?
and data structures like linked list, arrays, and all.
Then what about algorithms?
For algorithms, again, I watched a lecture series and I got to know about all the algorithms that are there in the GATE syllabus and also that are not in the GATE syllabus, but I was interested to know about. So, yeah.
Like you have learned the algorithms which are very important in GATE syllabus.
Right.
Then what about theory of computation? Like what actually you learned from this subject?
So, theory of computation was something that you can't like see practically. Like for computer organization, you can see what is inside the computer. But for theory of computations, there are something called Turing machines and all. That those concepts you can't see them practically. So I studied the theory and I tried to understood as much as I can.
Okay, like this is completely theory subject, right?
Right, right.
Then what about compiler design? Like what actually you learned from this subject and how you learned it?
So compiler design was actually interesting since my like when I was in first and second year I was doing coding, but I didn't knew like when I write a program and try to run it what happens then. So in compiler design I got to know about everything, like all the process, like when you run the program what happens and how that program runs. So it was interesting one.
Then what about operating systems?
For operating systems also, like similar to compiler design, I didn't knew many things before, like when you start your computer how things works, and also everything was there in the GATE syllabus, so you got to know about actually when you click on the start button on your computer, then like what happens from start to the end. So
Okay, like is there any specific topics in this subject you learned?
yeah, like there are a lot of topics like file management, memory management, virtual memory. So yeah, these are some of them.
Then what about databases?
So in databases also I followed some lectures and then I solved the PYQs and the test series and all.
And the last subject, which is computer networks, like what actually you learn in this subject?
So in computer networks we learned like about how the messages are or the communication happens in actual life. So how the IP addresses are used, like how two systems communicate with each other over the internet, like that.
You mainly focused on GATE syllabus as well as your coaching materials. Is that right?
Right, right.
In any exam, few subjects have more weightage and few subjects have less weightage. If you look into like a GATE syllabus, so for computer science engineering, like programming and data structures has more weightage. And if you look into compiler design, which has very low weightage, like have you focused on like the entire syllabus or have you focused on the subjects which have more weightage?
No, to be honest, like I actually haven't checked like what is the weightage for that subject. I studied it a whole, like I haven't checked what weightage it has. I studied the syllabus completely.
So Anjali, like while preparing for GATE exam, like what kind of resources you have used?
So basically I followed the online course which was here. So I followed the lectures. Then for PYQs, there's one website called gateoverflow.in. There all the PYQs are there, and along with the PYQs for every question, there is a separate discussion for that where people can add their solution and comments to the solutions of others. So it was a really nice site.
Okay. Like you have followed your coaching material and also you have solved PYQs in website.
Right. Along with the PYQs, like I also followed some 2-3 test series.
Okay. Like Anjali, like for any competitive exam, it could be JEE Mains, JEE Advanced, or post graduation exams like GATE as well as CAT. So mock tests are really important. So Anjali, like when did you actually started giving mocks, and what is the best time in order to give mocks?
So, like, it is good if you can start giving the full length test from November. So, you have 3 months like November, December, and January. Can give the test and analyze your mistakes. So, what really happens is like people give tests but they don't analyze. So, like, I also started from very less marks from in the first mock. Then I gradually increased it like by analyzing my mistakes and improving.
Where have you been given the mocks?
So, like I have given almost 10 to 15 mocks in my first attempt and like around 20 mocks in my second attempt. So, I've taken a test series. It's like Gate Overflow plus Go Classes combined test series. So, I've taken that and I did the like full length mock test from there.
Like while you given these mocks, have you given subject wise mocks or you have given complete mocks?
So I was talking about the full length mocks for I have also given like topic wise and subject wise tests. So after I completed my syllabus, I did the topic wise test, all the topic wise tests, then the subject wise test, and then the multi subject test, and after that I switched to full length test.
Okay. Like what kind of scores you are getting while giving the mocks?
So, like in my first mock, I got around 40 or 50 marks only. Then, till the end in January, I was getting around 80. And in the actual GATE exam, like I got 86.
I think you have a very good improvement while giving these mocks, like at the final exam.
Right. So, I used to, like, whatever mistakes I used to do in my mocks, I write them somewhere in a document. And then I used to revise those mistakes before giving the next mock. So, that's how I improve my mistakes.
So after giving the mocks, you have to analyze it. Is that right?
Yeah, right. So after you give any test, like any subject wise, topic wise, any test you give, just analyze it after that, like what mistakes you have done. Mostly people do the silly mistakes. So because of silly mistakes, they lost a lot of marks. So you have to reduce them. And if it is a conceptual mistake, you can just go and revise that again.
Like while preparing for GATE exam, what was your daily routine look like?
Okay, so I used to wake up at around like 10. Then I start with some lectures. So in the whole day I used to complete 2 to 3 lectures of around, the duration was around 2 hours of each lecture. And I used to make the notes of these lectures. So this takes around like 6 to 7 hours. And after that, if I got some more time, then I used to solve the PYQs and do the revision. So this was in my first attempt, but in my second attempt, as I already completed the syllabus and notes, so my routine was like just revise, and every day I used to give a topic wise test, and then I used to analyze that. Also, like I can practice some PYQs if time is there.
So let us assume you are left with last 1 month before GATE exam. So what was your revision or what was your preparation strategy in the last month?
So in the last month, I was doing mainly revision and the full length mock test. So I used to revise and then I used to give some mock test. And after I give the mock test, I used to analyze them, like what mistakes I did and all.
So Anjali, like for GATE exam also coding is mandatory. Like for GATE exam, how much coding is necessary according to you?
So as such, like coding is not required. So in GATE we have the subjects computer, C programming and data structure. So only theory will be asked there. Like some questions in C programming will be like a code is given, you have to tell the output like that. You don't have to write the code explicitly.
Any tips you want to share before the GATE exam to the GATE aspirants?
Yeah, don't feel demotivated, like as only 5 months are remaining now. So just focus on your syllabus completion and do the revision, and then move to test series and analyze the test properly.
Let us assume this is your exam day. So in your exam, like what kind of strategy you have used to attempt the questions?
So I started with aptitude. So in the aptitude questions, in the aptitude section there are like 10 questions. So I first solved the 10 questions in the first 20 to 25 minutes. After that I moved to the technical section, and for each question I have given almost 2 to 3 minutes, not more than that.
Like let us assume your results are out. So you secured All India rank 13. So how was your vibes at your home?
Yeah, everyone was like very happy, especially my father was really very happy.
After clearing GATE exam with a good rank, basically students have two options. One to do post graduation in either IISc, IITs or NITs, and the second option is they can choose PSUs. So is there any prerequisites before applying to any institutions?
No, not tests. There are not any prerequisites. Like in PSUs, some PSUs take the GATE score as a criteria, and then they took some interviews and all. Also in some IITs and IISc also they took interviews before the admission.
So apart from IISc, have you applied to any IITs like IIT Madras, Bombay, Delhi, Guwahati and so on?
So yeah, I have applied for only four institutes like IIT Bombay, IIT Delhi, IIT Madras, and IISc Bangalore. So I got the offer from all four institutes.
Like you have entered into IISc Bangalore. So how was your present life at IISc Bangalore in terms of facilities and academics?
So facilities at IISc are like really very good. So the campus is like really very beautiful. So I like to roam around the campus very often. So I enjoy my life here.
Okay, okay. Then what about academics?
Academics is also really good. Like if someone wants to pursue research, or someone needs some placements also, then IISc is really good for placements too. Like people have in their mind that IISc is only for research and not for placement. So this is a myth. Like has also like really good placements.
So guys, this is the end of the part 1. I hope you got some value for GATE preparation. And also as I said at the beginning of this video, we have part 2. In part 2 we will discuss about Anjali student life at IISc Bangalore. So don't forget to check that part 2. So mostly the part 2 will be released in this week only. So I will give the part 2 link in the description. So don't forget to check part 2 as well. If you think you have got some value from this video, make sure you have hit the like button and please share your thoughts as well as your opinions in the comment section. And I upload this kind of similar videos in the future. So if you want to be notified when I upload those videos, make sure you have hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications just by hitting that bell icon. So this is your Joshua Kamalakar. See you in the part 2.